Good evening, everybody. Before I start, I would like to thank the Copenhagen University for inviting me as the director for the Ahwazi Center for Human Rights to speak about the Ahwazi Arab suffering who reside in south and southwest of Iran. Well, and I would like to say thanks to the Danish government for hosting the Ahwazi Arab refugees and processing their asylum cases for being refugee due to the Iranian regime persecution. Well, to speak about as well, I would like to thank as well Nسيم group for their kind invitation for us to speak here today to all of you. Well, my name is Fيصل. I'm an Ahwazi Arab human rights activist based in London, and I'm attending the United Nations sessions since 2012 up to now. And I had many speeches regarding my people suffering or the persecution, execution, arrest, or the catastrophic environmental disasters that hitting the region of Al-Ahwaz. Well, the Ahwazi Center website is, as it's shown here, is acfh.info/English in Arabic and Farsi as well. To speak about, have you heard about a nation that is rich from underground and poor from overground in the world? They are the Ahwazi Arab people that residing in south and southwest of Iran. As it shows here in the map, this is the current places, the geographical distribution of Ahwazi Arab in so-called Iranian map. If we come back to the Iranian map, there are Khuzestan province, which of course has been changed to the Persian as it was Arabistan, Bushehr province, Hormuzgan, and south of Ilan province. These four provinces are lived since long time by the Ahwazi Arab people. As well, if you can see about the population of the Ahwazi Arab people, they are estimated between 10 to 12. There is no exact figure that been published by the Iranian government, but the estimated figure is playing between 10 to 12 million Ahwazi Arab. Well, Ahwaz, as the Iranian officials has described it as the heart beating of Iran. Why? Why this region? Why this region has been defined as the heart beating of whole Iranian map? Because of the natural resources that it has got. As the movie shows, Ahwaz has got the second largest oil reserves in the world. And 90% of the whole Iranian map gas is in Ahwaz. Apart from that, we have fertilized land, and as well as the various rivers that flow through the Ahwaz region. So, if we speak about the natural resources, the Iranian government or the previous president has said that Ahwaz is the heart beating of Iran. But unfortunately, these natural resources has been a problem, has been a mystery, has been a catastrophic, disastrous problem for the Ahwazi Arab people just for being an Ahwazi. Well, Ahwazis are suffering from various problems, such as the struggling for their identity. They are forbidding from their naming their children in Arabic name. They are forbidden from learning in their mother tongue, which is Arabic language. Unfortunately, as the Ahwazi children are studying in Persian language, that has led to the, unfortunately to say that, to most of the children are leaving the school due to by language school. Ahwazi children are speaking Arabic at home, but when they go to school, they have to speak Farsi. They don't know. And it's not allowed. Even it is being mentioned in Iranian constitution, but they don't allow them. That's why we saw people who came or get out from the school in the primary school by 30%, and the secondary school 50%, and the higher level 70%, because of the language barrier which they face from it. That's from point of the education. For naming their children with the Arabic name, they are forbidden. There is a booklet, small booklet, with the names, and if you want to name your child, you have to select it from that booklet that's been published by the Iranian government. If you don't want, okay, you have to stay for a long time, even your child stay without name, without birth certificate, and then they impose the name what they want. About the social, Ahwazis, unfortunately, they are forbidden even from wearing their own traditional dress, the Arabic dress. They don't allow them. They accuse them with the enemy of God, corruption on the earth. Who knows that this man is the enemy with God? Are we God representative to say that? No. The human rights violation, well, I'm coming to them point by point. It's disastrous. Iran is the second country after China in terms of execution. And the Ahwazi Arab people has got the more execution among the Iranian execution. That's been, unfortunately, executing people without fair judgment, without even assigning lawyer for them, just in the military or in the intelligence service prison, they charge them and accuse them with the false charges and being sentenced to death. We have got lots of number. If you've seen in the video, there were executing 3 persons, 2 of them men and the middle woman. The woman, we know that, unfortunately, being executed while she is pregnant. Imagine that. Even they don't have mercy with the children. How they gonna respect the human who is living in the Ahwaz? Well, if we speak about Iran in all over the world, the first thing that comes to the mind, well, all of them are Persian or they are speaking Farsi, but it's not true. Iran is a multi-nation. As it shows here, there are non-Persian nations living in north, west, south, southwest, southeast, northeast. They said we are non-Persian, we don't speak Farsi. They are as the South Azerbaijani Turks that are residing in the north here. There are Kurdistan, and they are Arabistan. There are Baluchistan, and Turkmenistan that residing here. They are all non-Persian, but nobody knows about them. Well, this is the Ahwazian or Arab that are residing, which is just to point that the Arab living here. As I said, there are 4 provinces. Hormuzgan, this is for Arab. Bushehr, Arab. Of course, I'm going to speak how the land has been confiscated from Bushehr and been attached to the Fars province in Iran. And Khuzestan and the south of Iran province, because north is belong to the Kurdistan and south is belong to Arab, and still they are there. This is the geographical distribution of the Arab in Iranian map, but unfortunately, many of these land, this is not the true one. This is the latest one which we found, but the true one, many land has been cut and attached to the Fars province or Kahbuliya or Rahmat or other Yazd or any other provinces. About the Kurdistan, as it is known here, and Baluchistan, they don't speak Farsi even. My mom, she doesn't know Farsi even. And my father as well, he doesn't understand Farsi because the severe poverty that hit the region of the non-Persian nations. Imagine that. Most of the Iranian oil now here in these provinces. Water. Look at the strategic point of Ahwaz. Baluchistan. If it is not less than Ahwaz, deprived, but 100% is equivalent to the Ahwazi. Still, the people of Baluchistan or in Al-Ahwaz are studying in tenant. In tenant, there is no school. This is how the non-Persian, South Azerbaijani Turk, Kurdistan, Al-Ahwaz, Baluchistan, and Turkmenistan was left. Nothing. But Ahwaz is facing termination by the Iranian regime. Well, who was the last ruler of Al-Ahwaz? Al-Ahwaz, was it independent? Is there any evidence to prove that? Oh no. There is a proof that Ahwaz being independent. And the last ruler was Sheikh al-Kabi. He is the last ruler of Al-Ahwaz that his government being collapsed by Reza Shah, the Iranian governor at that time. Sheikh al-Kabi, who is a governor of Al-Ahwaz, the provinces which I said in south and southwest of Iran, he was the last governor. And last city or last sovereignty has collapsed in 1925, 91 years ago. This history, all you can find in the British archives and libraries that recently been published by the cooperation with the Qatari University. Well, Sheikh al-Kabi was the well-known governor in the Arabian Gulf. He was intermediating between the Kuwait, Iraq, Saudi Arabia's ruler at that time. If they find a problem, they seek help from Sheikh Khazal. The first cultural capital in the Arabian Gulf was in Muhammara, that's known as Khurramshah. Still, we have the places of the Sheikh Khazal that he's been living there. Well, when Sheikh Khazal sovereignty has collapsed, is there any resistance from Ahwazi Arab people to the Reza Shah? Oh no. There was resistance. The Ahwazi Arab people, they didn't accept the rule of Reza Shah, but he has attacked the region brutally and killed lots of innocent Ahwazi Arab people who don't want to become with the Iranian. Well, there were lots of uprising, or they call it intifada, since 1925 up to now. Up to now, there is an uprising in Al-Falahiyya. They call it Shadigan. Now, which I am speaking with you, last Thursday, an Ahwazi Arabian has been killed. His name is Hassan al-Bughbaish. He was shot dead by the live bullet of the Iranian regime police. And nobody take care. So now while I'm speaking with you, there is an uprising opposite of the Ahwazi governor about the severe pollution that's hitting the region right now. Ahwaz used to have lots of river, but the Iranian government, what they made, they have deployed 2 projects for diverting the Ahwazi river water to the central Iranian cities such as Qom, Isfahan, Kerman. Yes. What's the name of those projects? Peshtabad and Golab. Why they want to divert the Ahwazi Arab water? They said there is no drinking water in the mentioned provinces such as Isfahan, Kerman, Yazd, Qom. There is no drinking water. And they supposed to take water from the Ahwazi River yearly 360 million square meter for the drinking purposes. But unfortunately, more than 2 billion square meter has been diverted from the Ahwazi rivers. And now, Ahwaz, there is no water, even the drinking water. They are struggling. The kidney disease is at the highest rate. The cancer, the unknown disease, which is hitting right now Al-Ahwaz because of the pollution, air pollution, because of the bad quality of the water. When you open the tap, it's completely muddy water. Imagine that. That's why Ahwaz now is struggling. Even though there are unknown disease that is spread out in all over Al-Ahwaz, there is no even hospital being built by the Iranian government. There are few like in a hospital, but they are not capable of the demand of the illnesses and disease that hitting the region. Instead, what the Iranian doing, instead of building hospitals or medical centers, they are building prison for cracking down more the Ahwazis and other non-Persian nations. Well, there are uprising has been done by the Ahwazi, but unfortunately remain anonymous. Nobody knows about them. That's why I'm here today to speak. The last one that happened in 2005, the Ahwazi Arab Intifada by 2005 was the shocking for the Iranian government. What was the reason for the Ahwazi Intifada in 2005? A leaked letter from the Muhammad Ali Abtahi, it says that the demographical or the Arab demographic of the region has to be changed from the Arabic to the Persian. The population of the Ahwazi Arab has to be reduced by 2/3 of the Arab and lead to the massive intifada in 2005. And more than 400 Ahwazi has been killed by the Iranian government and been thrown into the river. In 2005 there was water, but now if you just Google, there is no water. I'm going to show, I have the photo with me. I have got all the evidence. Many, they said, okay, of course, unfortunately, they said, Ahwazis belong to Iran. Okay, if it is, suppose Ahwaz belongs to Iran. But how the UK government, the British government, comes and sign a contract for selling petrol with my last governor, which is Sheikh al-Kabi. Imagine that when the UK, when the British Navy enter the local water of Al-Ahwaz through the Shatt al-Arab, they fire 11 bullets to honor my king. All these contracts, you can find it in the British. And if somebody interested, I can send it. After the 2005 intifada that happened, many people still disappeared up to today. Nobody knows about them. But nobody takes responsibility. And when we meet with the United Nations mission about the forced disappearance, the last time was in 2004. And after that, the Iranian government, they didn't allow any United Nations special rapporteur to enter Iran. They don't allow. In 2005, and before Intifada happened, Milan Kothari, the United Nations envoy, has entered Ahwaz and says the situation is catastrophic. Imagine that. We had the water at that time, and now there is no water at all. The sandstorms are hitting the region. Imagine that. The wetland has been dried up completely. Nothing. We don't have water in the wetland and marshes. Instead, what the Iranian government do? Filling the wetland and marshes with the oil, as much as oil we have got. They just know how to destroy the human and the environment. Well, more than 80% of the Iranian oil is in Al-Ahwaz. As I explained earlier, Ahwaz has got the second largest oil reserves in the world. But the phrase is known. They are rich from underground, poor from overground. You will find the man in Al-Ahwaz who is searching in the rubbish to find something to eat. Imagine that much severe the poverty is. Gas, more than 90% of the Iranian map. Gas is in Ahwaz region. But what was the Ahwazi gained from all these natural resources is the smoke, is the sandstorm. When they discover the oil, they burn the gas that comes with the oil. And now, the Ahwaz region witnesses acid rain. Why acid rain comes to the region? According to the Tabnak, which is the Iranian website, yearly 1,200,000 ton of the sugar cane waste being burned in Al-Ahwaz. Imagine the number. It's not my number. It's the top-notch website that is belongs to the Iranian government. 1,200,000 ton of the sugar cane waste being burned in Al-Ahwaz. Imagine that. The visibility is reduced to few meters because of the smoke that hit in the region. The petrol, Abadan has got a purification that making petrol, but the petrol is below the international standard. This is another problem. All these gases, imagine that when the oil well being blocked, they use the very, very, very dangerous acid. They put it in the oil well. They burn for at least 48 to 72 hours. The most dangerous acid, it's being burned in Al-Ahwaz. Nobody imagined that how many oil well in Al-Ahwaz. Ahwaz is full of oil, and each meter you can find oil well that bringing oil up and selling for the Iranian. All these gases of sugarcane waste, the petrol being made under international level, the dangerous acid all being burnt, as well as there is a material, there is a chemical material called as vinous. The alcohol production in Ahwaz, the factory, they discharge when they make alcohol from the sugar cane. They put the liquid material, they call it as a vinous. Imagine that in a scale of 40 hectares. 40 hectares. Why? This is the waste of the alcohol. The all Ahwaz capital and all surrounding suburbs feel like alcohol smell. All these gas combined together, and by the first rain of the year, we saw lots of shortness of a breath in the people. The Iranian website has confessed that, imagine that, always the Iranian media, they don't publish the actual figure. They publish the minimum figure. They said more than 30,000 Ahwazi Arab people has been admitted to the emergency unit in hospitals after the first acid rain hit the region. But who cares? They don't care about the human. They just want to grab and steal the oil, gas, even the soil, Ahwazi soil. Ahwazi soil being sold to the Qatar. We know that in 2022, Qatar is hosting the football championship. And as it is an island, and they need to build lots of stadium, they don't have soil. The Ahwazi soil being sold even. That much is precious. For the agricultural land, it's been yield in 4 seasons. 4 seasons you can farm in Al-Ahwaz. Imagine, if we don't have oil, if we don't have a gas, we have a fertilized land. agricultural land that you can farm it 4 seasons a year. But it's not been allowed. The Ahwazi Arab farmers being prevented from farming. Why? There is a lack of water in Al-Ahwaz. Al-Ahwaz never witnesses shortage of water. But after the water being diverted to Zayan Darud in Isfahan, or Kerman, or Qom, now we don't have even drinking water. And for the third consecutive year, the Iranian regime authorities preventing the Ahwazi Arab from farming in their agricultural land. But what is? They don't allow it. They don't allow Ahwazi. And now, let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. The structure of Ahwazi family is based on 2 ways. The Ahwazi Arab people are living and surviving in 2 ways. There is no third one. Because of the denial of governmental job, they do farming. Most of the Ahwazis are farmers. They want to live. But this way has been blocked by the Iranian regime. They have diverted the water and they don't allow Ahwazi from farming their agricultural land. Instead, the government, they are farming, or they confiscated the land and farming as the sugar cane. For sugar cane will destroy the land forever because of the high salt that is in the water. The land that being yielded by the sugar cane after a few years will destroy forever. But they don't allow. This is the first way which is being blocked by the Iranian regime, which is farming. The second thing, which is free business. Most of the Ahwazi youth, even the educated figures that been denied from the governmental job, they go and find some stalls for them to sell fruit or to make supermarket for them. When they go for the job, they will ask him, are you Persian or Arab? There is option in the application form. Even if you want to say I am Persian, they know from the accent. And they prevented him from the getting job there. So there is nothing except to put a stall and sell fruit or selling petrol. Now, or few years ago, the Iranian government has stopped the free petrol distribution. And now each one has got its own card which he can use monthly, for example, 300 liter petrol, not more than that. And we know most of the Ahwazis, they are working as the free business, either stalls for selling fruit or taxi driver. He bought a taxi, small taxi, and be a taxi driver. But they don't. Why? We have, in 2015, the Ahwazi Arab guys, names as Yunus Asakir. He has set himself afire because the Iranian authorities has confiscated his stall, which was the only source of income. And when he went to the authorities, they told him, we can't give it to you back. Why? Because you don't have a permission. He said, I don't have the money to pay you. I can gain all this only source of income, which I feed my family, my children, my wife. They have confiscated the stall, and he set himself the fire, and he died. And they said because of the lack of medication, he has passed away. Lack of medication in Al-Ahwaz, full of natural resources. As I explained before, Ahwazis in particular, and non-Persian nations in particular, they are forbidden from study in their own mother tongue language. Arabic, not allowed. You have to study in Persian. Imagine when the children, which he speaks for up to 7 years, he speaks Arabic, and he entered the school, he found completely irrelevant to Arabic. He will be shocked. He will be depressed. And the treatment of the teachers, it's lawful. We don't have Arabic media. There is no Arabic newspaper in Al-Ahwaz. If you want any media, it has to be supervised by the government. There is recently TV channel named as Al-Ahwaz that been prepared by the Iranian regime, which speak about how this regime is okay, how this regime delivering its responsibility to you in Arabic language. Because all these people are working for the Iranian regime. They don't speak. For me, as an activist, and participated in many United Nations events, I gave a speech about my people suffering. Next day, my dad has been arrested, 62 years old, being arrested by the accusation of your son's activity. And he has been tortured. He has been hanged. Still he is suffering from the severe torture, barbaric torture being practiced against him. 62 years old. A pregnant woman has been executed. There is no mercy for the babies, and there is no mercy even for elders. I'm not speaking about all people. I'm speaking about my dad as an example. About the human rights violations, if we want to speak, ladies and gentlemen, we can't finish it by 1 hour or 1 day or 1 month. Ahwazi